Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Katariina and today we'll go through a really fun sequence, quite a creative one, lots of creative transitions, slightly hip focused. So if you've got any tightness around there, we'll surely work on those. Before starting, I'd like to mention I've created a guide, a sort of framework for creating a really intentional and lovely morning routine. The guide for that is just below the video. You can find the link there. It's got some practices that I haven't published anywhere else before. So we can get into our practice. We'll start lying down on our mats. So basically in Savasana, rolling your spine down, legs and arms are long. And just take a moment to settle here, allowing your body to lie flat on the mat and just sink in towards the mat, truly arriving here. See if you can also do that through your mind. Can you arrive here through your mind? The shoulders drop down, the legs are long. We'll take a deep inhale, hugging both knees in towards the chest. You can wrap your hands around and just swing back and forth a few times, massaging the lower back in towards the mat. Good. Then release the left leg. You can lie flat on the mat and we'll start to extend our right leg out straight. So you can grab a hold behind the thigh, maybe behind the calf, see where you can reach. And then see if you can also drop the shoulders down. So you bring length into the leg, but also to the entire spine. Good. Just working into the back of that right leg. We'll take an inhale here. And then start to bend the right knee. You can grab the big toe or the outside edge of the foot and come into a half happy baby pose. Maybe placing your left hand on the left shin to find stability through the hips and balance. Good. Inhale here. And then we're going to bend the left knee, place the left foot onto the mat and cross the right ankle over. We'll then hug the legs towards us, coming into a figure four stretch. Now for the right glute. Gently pulling the legs towards you. Keep sinking the hips, the lower back down, shoulders down. Good. Take an inhale. And then exhale, you can release the legs. We're going to release the right leg onto the mat and now hug the left knee in towards the chest. And then start to straighten it out. Moving onto the other side. Right leg is long and the left leg lengthens in front of us. Spine also stays quite long. Good. Just easing in through gentle movement. We'll inhale with our leg long in front of us. And then start to bend the knee towards the left armpit. You can grab the big toe or the outside edge of the foot. And then gently pull the leg closer into the ribs. Good. Right side of the hips grounds down. We inhale. And then bend the right knee, cross the left ankle over, and hug the legs towards you. Coming into that figure four stretch. Good. Maybe gently pushing the left knee away from you. We inhale here. And then drop the legs down, the feet down, untangle the legs. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest again, and then you can rock back and forth a few times. So kind of moving towards the top of the mat. You can roll up and down the full length of the spine. And then maybe with your third or your fourth round, you find a malasana. So feet come towards the long edges of the mat. Elbows pushing the knees away from each other. You can obviously help yourself with your hands as you come up here. And palms pressing up against each other. Try to bring length into the spine. It also doesn't matter here if you're slightly higher up on the heels. Maybe you lift the hips up a little bit higher too if it's a little bit tight for you. Good. Open up through the chest, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, fold over the legs, finding a forward fold. You can walk the feet a little bit closer to each other. Knees can stay slightly soft. And then we inhale, lengthen, lift halfway. And then exhale, fold over. Planting our hands onto the mat, we'll step into a plank pose. Keeping your shoulders over the wrists, keeping the core really strong. Take an inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend through the knees, crouch towards the back of the mat. So as if kind of finding a downward facing dog or something between a downward facing dog and a child's pose, but super active. Good. And then inhale, move forward. Again, chest moves forward, the body straightens out. And then exhale, crouch back again. Good. And move forward one more time. And then exhale, crouch back. Good. We'll move forward, inhale, and then drop halfway or all the way to the mat. Find an upward facing dog or cobra. And then finally a downward facing dog. Good. Take a few breaths as you arrive here. First down dog of this practice. Guide the hips up. Find length through the arms, through the spine. Maybe slight movement to start with as well. Good. Take one more inhale, fill the lungs all the way up. And then open the mouth. Sigh the air out, really landing here. Good. We'll then move forward back into a plank pose and bring our weight onto the left side, finding a side plank here. You can also support yourself with the right foot kind of halfway up the mat. Good. We inhale here. And then as we exhale, we again crouch towards the back of the mat. Try to see if you can keep your left hip off the mat. Keep the right arm lifting up, really active through the left arm. Good. Then finding your way back into a side plank, we'll hug the right knee in towards the chest and then step it forward between the hands. Good. Quite a strong start. Left knee lands onto the mat and we inhale, reaching up through the arms. Good. Find length in the upper body. Reach up through the arms, sink the hips down and pull the right hip back. Good. Inhale. And then exhale, drop your hands down. We'll move our weight back, finding a half Hanumanasana. Just a gentle stretch for the back of the right thigh. And see if you can lengthen the spine here a little bit. Good. We breathe for one more inhale. And then exhale, start to rebend the right knee. We'll tuck our left toes under, left hand on the mat and reach your right arm up. Good. So really opening up through the upper body. The chest turns out towards the right side of the mat. Left leg is long. Gazing up. Good. Take an inhale here. You can bring your right hand down to start with. We're going to start to move our weight forward. The left foot picks up off the mat and we rise all the way up into standing. Left knee hugs in towards the chest. Good. We stay here for the exhale. Take another inhale. We'll start to lean forward over the left knee. And can you now keep the angle between the upper body and the left thigh the same as you start to bend the right knee, dropping the left foot down into a chair pose. Good. Arms are long. Now both knees bent. The spine is long too. Good. Take an inhale. And an exhale. One final inhale. And then as we exhale, we fold over the legs. Good. Lengthening the spine as you inhale, gaze forward. And then exhale, land your hands onto the mat, step into a plank pose. Good. Take an inhale here. And then we crouch again as we exhale. Good. Inhale, move forward. And crouch as you exhale. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. We'll move forward, moving through a vinyasa of your choice. Upward facing dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Good. Once again, arriving in our down dog, ready to move to the other side. Take a big breath in first. And exhale it out. Good. Then move your weight forward and bring it onto the right hand. Left arm lifts up as we find our side plank. Good. Then bending through both knees, hips move down and back. Left arm moves up and forward. And then come back through center. Left knee in towards the chest. And step it forward towards the top of the mat. Right knee down. Sinking the hips down already at this point. And then as you lift your upper body up, the weight of your upper body maybe sinks the hips a little bit lower. Try to still keep them squared. Good. Not tensing through the shoulders or the neck. Take an inhale. And then the hands drop down, the weight moves back. The left leg straightens out. Good. Can you roll your shoulders back here? Finding more space in the chest, in the upper back. Good. We'll inhale. And then rebending the left knee, place your right hand onto the mat. Right knee lifts off the mat and we open up into a twist, left arm up. Good. Try to twist as close to the left thigh as you can. You'll go a little bit deeper into it. And also try to point your left knee towards the top of the mat. Good. Take an inhale. And then the left hand drops down. We'll start to move our weight forward, picking the right knee up and then squeezing it in towards the chest. Good. Inhale deep and release. Take one more inhale. And then we'll tilt forward slightly through the upper body, now keeping the angle here between the upper body and the right thigh the same as you start to slowly bend the left knee and drop down into a chair pose. Good. Breathe in and out. Good. Take one more inhale. And then soften over the legs. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, halfway lifting, and then exhale, fold over. Plant your hands onto the mat, step into a plank pose. Take an inhale here, and then squat towards the back of the mat as you exhale. And inhale, move forward, and exhale. One final one, inhale, really push the palms into the mat and squat back as you exhale. Good. Inhale into plank and then vinyasa of your choice. Upward facing dog or cobra and downward facing dog. Good. Beautiful. We'll do a similar sequence again, but now as a slightly stronger version. Kind of as our main sequence, adding on a little bit and changing it up a bit. We'll inhale our right leg up behind us to start with, and then bend the right knee, open through the hip, and start to perhaps drop into a wild thing. So maybe the right ball of the foot comes onto the mat, right arm can reach over. Good, open up through the chest, right arm lengthens, and then we come back through center, now hugging the right knee in towards the chest, and then step it forward between the hands. Good, now keeping the left knee off the mat, we'll lift all the way up into a high lunge this time. Good. Still sinking down through the hips. Try to lengthen the back leg. Drive the right knee forward, left heel back. Good. With our next exhale, the hands come to heart center, and then we twist so that the left elbow comes over the right knee or the thigh, and we gaze up over the right shoulder. Good. Keep pressing both feet down to find your balance here. Good. Take an inhale, open through the chest, move the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, release your hands down. We're going to kick off the left foot, now finding a standing splits pose. Good. Keeping that left leg, the back leg, super active, all the way from the hips to the toes. You can hug your right shin in with your right hand if you like, or you can keep both hands on the mat. If you want to start to hover your hands, you can also start to play with balance there. Good. Take an inhale here. And then start to hug the left knee in towards the chest and rise all the way up to standing. Arms reach overhead, left knee hugging in. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, start to slightly bend the right knee. We're going to place our left ankle over the right knee. Hands come to heart center and start to sit down here. So a figure 4 through the legs, but we're in a chair pose. Hands can stay at heart center. If you feel like there's space in the hips, you can even rest your hands on the leg and the foot. Good. Take an inhale. And then simply release the foot from the knee and then fold over the legs. Good. We lengthen, inhale, gaze forward. And then hands come down onto the mat, step into a plank. Now going through just a regular vinyasa. Halfway or all the way onto the mat. Upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Good. Take a full breath in. Feel the lungs. And then exhale out. Good. With our next inhale, the left leg lifts all the way up. And then bend the knee open through the hip. Good. Maybe starting to drop down into a wild thing. The left ball of the foot down. The left arm reaching over and the chest opens out. We push the hips up. And then start to find your way back through center. Left knee in towards the chest. And step it forward between the hands. Good. From here, pressing down through both feet, we lift up, finding our high lunge. Good. Right leg reaching back. Arms are long. Beautiful. Then with our next exhale, the hands start to come down to heart center and we start to twist right elbow over the left knee. Good. Maybe you turn the gaze if you've got the balance here. Beautiful. Twisting deep for one more inhale. And then hands come back onto the mat and we'll kick off the right foot, coming into a standing splits. Good. So lifting the right leg high up behind us. The left leg is long. You can hug the shin in if you like, or then keep both fingertips on the mat. You can also keep a slight bend in that bottom knee. Maybe you even hover the hands if you've got the balance here. Good. We'll then start to lift all the way up, so the right knee moves in towards the chest. We stand up, hugging the knee in. Inhale, and then open through the knee, bend through both knees. Right ankle lands onto the left knee, and we start to sit down. Hands at heart center. Maybe you sit down a bit lower, dropping your hands onto the calf, the ankle, the foot. Good. Well done. Take an inhale. And then release the foot and find a forward fold. Beautiful. We'll lengthen, take a big inhale in. And then exhale, fold over the legs. From here, you can soften the knees slightly and roll the spine all the way up to standing. Arms reach overhead. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Good. And then you can release your arms down. Good. So at the top of the mat, we'll bring our feet together. And then come on to the tiptoes. Hands can come to heart center. And then we reach the arms all the way up, finding a long line from the toes to the fingertips. We'll start to bend through the knees. Heels still lifted. Reach up through the arms and really slowly with control land over your heels. Good. Hands then come to heart center, arriving in your toe stand. Good. And then we'll gently tap the knees onto the mat, and you can release the feet from underneath. Good. We'll come into a camel pose to finish our practice. So we'll come all the way up to stand on the knees and the shins. And to start with, we'll bring our hands onto the lower back. The palm of the hand pressing down, the base of the palm really pushing in, fingers pointing down. You can either keep your toes tucked under or keep the feet flat. We're going to roll the shoulders back and start to very gently lift up through the chest. You can lift your gaze up too, and then move the hips forward. Really engaging through the glutes to protect the lower back. Good. And you can either stay here, just feeling into the pose and not even moving your arms anywhere. But if you want to, you can gently drop your left hand onto the left heel, right hand onto the right heel, and find that opening here. Okay. Remember to keep the glutes engaged, push the hips forward, find length in the spine. Good. Then if you've got your hands down, first bring them onto the lower back and then slowly lift yourself up. You can untuck the toes if you've got them tucked and sit down over the heels. Good. Take a breath there. Really feeling into the spine, the shoulders, the hips. Allow the spine to come back to its neutral shape. And then we'll fold over the legs. You can reach for the heels, so we'll find a very rounded child's pose. Maybe the head rests on the mat so that you have your chin tucked in. Take a few breaths. Allow the spine to round. And breathe. Good. And then we'll roll the spine up from here. You can simply come onto your bum, bring the legs round. Feet on the mat and roll the spine all the way down. Good. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest. You can gently sway from side to side. And then this time opening up into a full happy baby. So both feet open up. You can grab the toes, the feet, the ankles, the shins, anywhere you can reach with a long spine. Shoulders still moving down. Good. Taking a few deep breaths, really easing into the shape. Can you start to soften? Can you land? And then bringing the feet in. We're going to drop them onto the mat and finally straighten the legs out. Arriving into Savasana. Arms long, legs long. Shoulders and hips melt down. The back of the neck is long. And we release all engagement, all activity, all effort from the body. Dropping into Savasana. And if at this point you feel like pausing the tape and finishing your practice, I really, really urge you not to. As it's in these bits of silence and stillness after the movement that we really integrate all of that in. And in those moments, it's also so much easier to quieten the mind, to actually arrive at a still place. And we get so little of that in our day-to-day life. So dropping into that state of quiet. You can guide a deeper inhale in through the nose. Feel the lungs with air again. And then sigh it out. You can gently turn your head from side to side. And then start to find movement in the body that feels good at this point. Maybe some stretching. You can also hug your knees in towards your chest as we start to find our way up. Good. So find your way back up into a seat. Maybe cross-legged, maybe another shape. Placing your hands onto the knees or your lap. And take a moment here, simply in your seat, in stillness. Still holding on to that softness. And see if you can carry some of that with you into your day as you move out of your practice. We can bring our hands to heart center and then bowing our head towards the hands in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do enjoy practicing with me, please subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every Thursday, so I'm here every week. I hope I see you here next week as well. Thank you.